All right, but what they opened with, Brian, I'll have you know, good sir, they opened hot. They wanted to catch people right off the bat. Here comes Seth, Franklin Rollins, and his henchman now, Bron Breakker and Paul E. Danger Heyman. And they look fucking great together. They look just fabulous, just swell. And this is the new top heel. Is this going to be the new bloodline without being a bloodline? But it's a new top heel stable, which we're fortunate to live in these times, Brian. And then they bring Sami out because he's very popular. And they start chanting right away, CM Punk, and then Mussolini in Tampa Bay. He was very close to that. The bay is very close to where they are. The building is very close to the water. And the baby faces hit the ring and jump start it, and they get in a four-way. And I mentioned this earlier, but especially if you're just popping in on the YouTube, folks, they had a little flurry and they stop Sami, and Bron clotheslines him over the desk, and they go to the break in like, what, a minute and a fucking half or whatever. And by the time they come back, they've gotten the heat on Sami, but Sami hits a hot tag, and it's a hot tag. I'm not just saying that sarcastically. He set it up and boom, he hit it. It got a big pop. And Punk makes a comeback and goes through some false finishes. But Seth fucking caught him with a pedigree and sidelined him, and Sami saved, and it was Sami and Bron, and he hit a dive, and there was another break. I'm like, what? They just came fucking back. And by the time they come back, they're ready to go. I'm like, God damn it. This is like when the reception used to be bad late at night, Brian, when I was trying to get Bruiser's TV from Channel 4 in Bloomington, Indiana, and I hadn't put my big antenna up yet, and I was still dealing with the rabbit ears, and it would waver in and out when Baron von Raschke had the claw on Bob Ellis. But finally, then they hit some simultaneous cold tags, which I wasn't as thrilled about. And Sami made the big comeback on Bron and went for the kick, and Paul grabbed his leg. The managers are interfering again. It warms the potential pimple on my taint to see stuff like that. And so as the referee and Sami are with Paul, Bronson Reed appears at ringside and spears CM Punk through the barricade. And then Sami is aghast and alone, and Bron Breakker speared Sami. Boom, 1, 2, 3. And I enjoyed what I saw of this, and I could have seen maybe 3 or 4 more minutes of it if they would have been so kind as to give it to me. But and boom, they did that, and then Reed came in, and Seth hugged him, and it got a big pop because now people can see this modern, new faction forming. And Bronson Reed shook hands with Bron Breakker. Of course, this Seth's opening line always from now on every week has to be, "This is my friend Bron and my other friend Bron." And they all raised their hands, and Punk went after Paul. He was going to pull him down by the leg. And the heels grabbed Punk and held him out. And Bronson Reed
Paul did a splash. Oh, Bronson Reed.
No, Bronson. No, they don't want to kill Punk, for fuck's sake. He's still got time on his contract. They let Bronson Reed do it. If they want to get rid of somebody, they'll let Heyman fall on it. But it was okay. Like I said, I'd like seeing a little bit more of it. Because that was kind of the thing I was interested in of the night. But your thoughts?
I never really thought about it. They really should use Heyman's girth and have him like do a splash. Even if he can't get off the ground, just standing and just kind of fall.
No. The injury rate would be, hey, he could find some way to fucking be dangerous when he weighed 196 pounds. Unintentionally, but still.
I thought the match was all right. I like the Bronson Reed surprise because it was a surprise to me. I forgot about him. Not in a bad way, but he had been gone for a while. He's been injured. I wasn't thinking like, oh, he's due to return. So that's the kind of surprise that I like when I don't anticipate it at all. And of course, there's the history with him and Rollins. He's the one who took out Rollins when Rollins was off for a while. Injured for a while.
Yes. And that's why they teased the little stare down there for a second and then had the big hug to show everybody they're all on the same page. And it's a shocking formation of this group and everything. And there's Paulie again smiling. The jowls are flapping in the breeze. He's happy about this whole thing. So I like the group, and I know it's a network TV special. I know it's basically to promote their regular programs, but they could have easily eliminated having to go to Zelina and Chelsea Green and given that 6 minutes plus entrances to another one of these matches, or probably two, because I think the main event might have got 4 minutes on the air, but we'll get there. Anyhow, allow me to turn the page to the aforementioned.
Is Punk injured? Is they going to do I mean, when I say injured, not for real, but is Punk going to be off for a while?
Well, I don't know.
Right,
I haven't checked in with him. He usually emails me his schedule for the month so I can, know how to book his limos. How do I know what they're going to do?
They brought Bronson Reed back and he gave him the big splash. The last time we saw him do that, he took Seth Rollins out of commission.
Well,
they built it up as being a dangerous move that could hurt. It took Braun Strowman out of the company. That move.
Well, no, part of that was, self-inflicted by Braun from
Braun
being too highly paid, I think.
But Braun from Braun?
To Braun from Braun. No, didn't they? He splashed Seth about 3 or 4 times. He just gave Punk the one here. So I think he'll be okay by next week, won't he? Isn't it about a week per splash?
Unless he has like a film roll or something.
Well, in that case, then they ought to go and see him show up to shoot the movie with his ribs taped up.
Well, who knows? But back to the exciting Zelina Vega versus Chelsea Green match you were going to go to.
Yes, it lasted about 6 minutes. And did you see? Now I guess they say it's broken, or at least they said that on the Twitter. But right at the finish, Zelina tries a 619 on Chelsea, and she got completely hung up in the ropes to where her feet didn't go anywhere near Chelsea's face. So as she's hanging there in the ropes, she just reached her right foot out and boop, just kicked fucking Chelsea right in the goddamn nose, right in the fucking face. Boom. And Chelsea grabs it and goes backward. And in a second, she's bleeding. She got a definite bloody nose, and apparently they've diagnosed it on Twitter. She did, at least, as being broken. But it was so funny because there's no way that anybody's going to buy this, that she's already missed this thing and gotten hung up, obviously. And then she just said, well, there she is. Bam! Just kicked her right in the fucking face. And then gave her a sunset flip power bomb off the turnbuckle. 1, 2, 3. So that did her wonders too, I'm sure. I wonder if she could break her nose and give her brain damage in the same match. Did I miss anything about that, Brian?
No, I don't think so.
Tell me that Jimmy Hart at ringside did not look exactly the same as Jimmy Hart on a clip from Saturday Night's Main Event in 1986.
I mean, for the most part.
There was no difference.
He's aged incredibly well. Is that the same Jimmy Hart who was last seen on the show getting booed with Hulk Hogan?
Yes. He had to have some of the heat washed off him. So he got to be there with Bushwhacker Luke. Bush, Jesus Christ, Bushwhacker Luke at ringside, or Butch. Which was it, Butch or was it Luke? Jesus Christ!
It was Luke. Butch is dead.
It was Luke. That's what I'm saying. But when I said Butchwhacker instead of Bushwhacker, that threw me off the goddamn deal.
Oh man, you know what I loved in Memphis? Real quick aside here, when they had the thing where Jimmy Hart with Bobby and Coco had like a little mini feud with the sheep herders of Boyd and Williams. And they're cutting promos on each other, like face to face in a sense. Jimmy Hart's in the ring and Jonathan Boyd's on the mic by Lance. It was great. It was heel versus heel, but I loved it.
Well, Jonathan Boyd was so cranky. He was believable that he would be mad at anybody, heel, babyface, or anybody else. And Jimmy, again, people could like him as long as he was saying something that he would normally say about people that they didn't like. But then he could turn it around. But nevertheless, they were at ringside, and so was Vikingo. Old Vikingo has made the big jump over there to the big time.